Hey guys, my name is Matimio, and welcome to another episode of Sunday Mailbox. This is a video series where you, the viewer, can submit your gaming or Battlefield-related questions, and then I will give my humble opinion on them. To get the formalities out of the way real quick, if you would like to submit your own question that can be featured in an upcoming episode, you can do so by leaving a comment down below or by sending me a YouTube message. So the first question for today comes from Just Naturally Boss, who asks, what do you think about Battlefield 4 being a little bit more gory? Not extreme where heads are getting shot off all the time, but more to the point where if you're getting hit by a grenade, your body wouldn't be intact. You would have your legs and arms all over the place. So I'm not opposed to having a little bit more gore in the upcoming game, but I'm not exactly sure if the Frostbite engine does gore very well. I mean, I can't really think back on a lot of scenarios where there is a lot of gore, at least in Battlefield 3, and some engines are specialized in other areas. Like, I mean, Battlefield and the Frostbite engine is great for destruction. They have beautiful landscapes, the graphics are amazing, particle effects are flying all over the place, but gore isn't one of them that they kind of, that they really pursue. And so I'm sure that they could make it, but I'm just not exactly sure if I would want them to spend a lot of time trying to make the gore look really good. But probably the biggest point is that because in Battlefield 4 you can revive players, well, what if someone just got taken out by a grenade or they got taken out by a tank shell? Their legs and arms are all over the place, like it's really gruesome, but then you go up and revive them. How does that play out? Do you make it so that they just all of a sudden have their limbs on so that they can continue to fight? And if they do that, then I feel like that would kind of take away from the immersion factor, which is kind of what you were trying to do with the gore in the first place. And some people might say, well, keep the gore in there, make it so that limbs are falling off and stuff like that, but make it so that if you do get taken out by a grenade or you do get taken out by a tank shell and you die from it, then you shouldn't be able to revive that particular player, and that would definitely switch things up in the game. I talked a really long time ago about giving that benefit to bolt-action rifles for the sniper class. Basically, if you get shot in the head by a bolt-action rifle, you wouldn't be able to revive that player, or if that person was knifed, you wouldn't be able to revive them, just to make it so that snipers were better at a distance and so that they didn't feel completely useless after they took out two people, and then all of a sudden a res train goes by, and then all of a sudden the kills that they just had didn't really amount to anything. But this would be taking it a step further, and if they did do this, I know I'm kind of going off on a tangent right now, but if they implemented a system like this where if you were exploded by a grenade, then that would definitely change up how you approach combat. I mean, it would definitely enhance certain aspects. Grenades would become a lot more potent. Getting in a tank would be a lot more devastating. Anyone you basically take out with that isn't going to be able to be revived. So I'm not exactly sure how I would like that. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. I'm definitely curious if you would like a system like that in Battlefield 4. So the next question for today comes from the Mr. Gidwani, who asks, in Battlefield 4, I think they should add the ability to customize the UI and minimap more to fit the individual's likings. What are your thoughts? I'm all for having the ability to customize your UI. I mean, I play on PC, I play a lot of MMOs, and in those games, it's always great when you have the option to tweak things here and there. And either it comes from mods or the developers themselves will have some tools that you can use to make those changes. But I really wouldn't expect that to happen for Battlefield 4 because I think DICE is really trying to push their new battle log, their updated battle log system. If you guys saw the video a couple of days ago where they kind of talked about some of the new features, one of them is that you can have your mini-map and other stuff on your tablet device, your phone, or on your second monitor. So potentially, if you're playing on PC, or even if you're playing on the Xbox or something like that, if you have a tablet device, you can sit that right next to you, and you can bring up the mini-map of your match, and it'll be in real time and everything, and it will be just exactly what you're trying to talk about, where it's a much larger and you can see everything that's going on. And while that isn't exactly a fix to what you were trying to get, at least it's a step in the right direction. And so I think that DICE is going to be focusing on that. I think this will alleviate a lot of the problems that you have with the current minimap system and some of the other subtler things, but I think that this is the direction that DICE is going to be taking. So the next question for today comes from Jace, who asks, what do you think of in Battlefield 4 if they added more slots for classes. For example, the Assault class would have 3 slots so that you didn't have to constantly be changing your loadout depending on the map itself. In all honesty, they actually have a system like that already in place for Battlefield 3, and you might be thinking to yourself, no they don't. They don't have like a loadout system like they do for Call of Duty or any other first-person shooter out there. But if you think about it, yeah, they actually do, where if you pick a particular weapon, let's say I pick the M16A3, it saves all the attachments that I had before. And then let's say I want to use a long-range weapon, I switch on over to the G3A3, it saved the same attachment loadout that I had for that that's suited for long range. And while sure, yes, if you want to mix and match between that particular weapon between maps, so if you want to use the M16A3 with a different scope, then yes, you are going to have to go in and make the changes. But because there are so many different weapons, the system that they have in place isn't all that bad. But to answer your question, no, the DICE isn't going to be doing anything like this. I believe on a Reddit post, someone asked this very question, and a DICE developer came on and said that while this is definitely an interesting concept, it's not something that they are pursuing. Maybe it will happen in a future patch. I highly doubt that. Or maybe if they have more development time and they want to work around something, then it might be in place. But from what it sounds like, they aren't going to have a system like that in place. But in all honesty, like I said, if it's anything like Battlefield 3, it's not really going to be a big deal. Alright, so I'm going to answer one more question, and it comes from Jason, who asks, in Battlefield 4, should they actually make a map where you need the flashlight to see? A map that is too dark to see without a light, that would be cool. I would love to have a map like this, maybe like 1 or 2, or if they gave us the option to have like day-night cycles where all of the maps had the capability of being in broad daylight or pitch black, you know, no light at all. That would be amazing because the combat itself would be spectacular. I mean, the Frostbite engine is already amazing, but just think of just all like the flares and the bullets flying all over the place, but it being pitch black. Like, the amount of tactics that would be involved would be just so cool. Like, it would really change up how you approach the gameplay, because on the one part, yeah, if you have a flashlight, that's going to illuminate everything in front of you, but it also pinpoints your exact location. So if a sniper is just in a tower or he's in a building somewhere and he sees your flashlight, you all of a sudden become easy pickings. But it would also make it so that you could use the infrared night vision scope, and it would be awesome if they revived that so that that became a viable option, so that everyone was running around with that scope instead of just kind of being this random thing that was placed in there, which was basically what it was for Battlefield 3. So yeah, absolutely, I am completely on board. I'm crossing my fingers. I want to say it's not going to happen. I think that if they did do night maps, it would be along the lines of what we had for Death Valley, where it's definitely nighttime, but you can see everything in front of you. You do not need to use the infrared night vision scope or anything like that. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I'm really hoping it's happened because I think it would be fantastic. But that is about it for today's Sunday Mailbox, guys. I hope you enjoyed this conversation. Once again, if you would like to submit your own question, let me know by leaving a comment down below or by sending me a YouTube message. But until tomorrow, guys, have a good one and take it easy.